Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my basement. And welcome back to another episode of the Hot Take Table. Roll the intro. That's right. I don't have an intro. So, on this month's edition of the Hot Take Table, I wanted to talk about two franchises that they really made up my childhood. So, for the first maybe 10 years of my life, the main television show that influenced me as a youth was Dragon Ball Z. We had all the video games, we watched the movies, the TV show that was way too long always. We had the action figures. You can see I have a Piccolo Funko Pop figure right up here. And then once I got into high school, that's when I really caught on and fell in love with Steven Universe. I've again watched all the shows. I haven't played any of the video games because I just haven't gotten to it yet. I've stopped playing video games a lot more growing up. But if you want to watch me play video games, check me out on twitch.tv/yourboydharn. Cheap plug. We love it. But anyway, something I noticed recently about these two shows is that they are so strangely similar. Like, these shows have way more in common than people think. And I couldn't really put it to words until I decided to put it to words. So here is the shocking comparison of... So here it is, my pitch that Steven Universe and Dragon Ball Z are the same television show. So first we're going to start with the stories of each universe, and then we're going to go a little more in depth on which characters are parallels. So the first season of Steven Universe is really about Steven coming into his own as a gem and really figuring out who he is. And the beginning of the Dragon Ball franchise with Dragon Ball sort of has a similar thing going on. The beginning of Dragon Ball is all about Goku discovering who he is, figuring out all the stuff with the tail. And while Steven does get a hold of his gem powers, Goku definitely doesn't, as his tail gets cut off in Dragon Ball and he loses that power. But you get to the beginning of Dragon Ball Z and you actually follow a very similar story with Gohan. See, Gohan at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, the beginning of Dragon Ball Z is where they find out that they're aliens, and Gohan sort of gets taken and he gets trained to be one of these fighters, sort of in the same way that Steven was sort of trained in season 1 to be a crystal gem. So Dragon Ball Z starts with Raditz coming to Earth. Now, Raditz is Goku's brother, right? So Raditz comes to Earth as a Saiyan so that Goku knows that he's also a Saiyan, but also to sort of establish the power of the Saiyans, or the alien race. And tell me if you've heard this one before. There is a gem person introduced, the first gem introduced outside of the crystal gems, that shows what gems really can do besides just what the crystal gems do, showing a pretty big threat to the main cast at the beginning, but the threat level towards the cast goes down a bit. I'm of course talking about Lapis Lazuli in the Mirror Gem Ocean Gem 2-part episode, where really it's very similar because Lapis shows up, she's like, I'm a gem, crazy, and then wants to take over the Earth, except taking over the Earth means stealing the ocean in Lapis's case. So then in Dragon Ball Z, we have the two other alien invaders who come in to make the main cast's life a living hell. In Dragon Ball Z, this is Nappa and Vegeta coming in. A big brute and a short, yes, definitely short person who's coming in Vegeta to really establish themselves as a problem. So Steven Universe, also around the same time in the series ish, around the end of the first season or arc, if you would, 2 more gems come to Earth. One of them we get introduced to a lot earlier than the other one, but they both finally come to Earth together and imprison every person in the main cast and tries to destroy the world. This is Jasper, who is a very large brute of a gem, and Peridot, who is a lot smaller and a lot smarter and a lot more ruthless. The big difference here is that in Dragon Ball Z, Nappa dies. Vegeta just kills Nappa. And in Steven Universe, Jasper is around for a little bit more. She gets corrupted towards the end of Steven Universe, and is only uncorrupted at the end, and then is not a main character, but she's like a recurring character again in Steven Universe Future. And then we go to Dragon Ball Z's Namek arc, and the big bad villain of the Namek arc, Frieza. The whole idea is Frieza wants Namek. Frieza wants to take Namek, destroy Namek, whatever he wants to do with it. And Frieza just has a huge army of people who are ready to fight on behalf of him and just go hard. And if that's not a comparison to Yellow Diamond, I don't know what is. Yellow Diamond is one of the 4 diamonds of the Diamond Authority. They rule the gem planet. And Yellow Diamond is very aggressive, like very much war. Like war is Yellow Diamond's thing. After the Yellow Diamond arc in Steven Universe, before I talk about the rest of Steven Universe, I think the best comparison you can make to the Majin Buu arc of Dragon Ball Z isn't the sort of the Blue Diamond arc of Steven Universe, but rather the Steven Universe movie. Majin Buu, big fat, super powerful monster that is capable of like destroying the Earth and goes through different form changes and almost like successfully destroys Earth and kills the main cast. And Spinel is in a similar vein, because Spinel appears in a form different than her original form. She goes back to her original form, and Spinel and Majin Buu in their original forms are both really playful characters, which sort of adds to the creepiness about them both when they're in their like mega bad, going to kill everyone form. Because Majin Buu, when he's in like Super Buu peak form, he's like big and buff. And Spinel doesn't get like bigger in her like new form that she takes on, but she really, really just looks scary. She's scary. And also a big part of this of the Majin Buu arc that's not as big of a part of the Spinel movie arc is fusion between main characters. Fusion is a huge part of the Majin Buu arc with Vegeta and Goku, with Goten and Trunks. And then in the movie, there's a big part, and that's the fusion is sort of the way they got Pearl back from the state that she was in, which was converted to original Pearl, only knew to obey her master, that sort of thing. So that's where I'm going to leave it at the story comparisons, because I don't want this video to be like 10 years long. So I'm going to get to specifically the character similarities. And the first characters I want to talk about beginning are the main characters. Goku and Gohan compared to Steven. So obviously, these are both the main characters of their respective shows. Gohan less so than Goku. You can tell at the beginning of seasons of Dragon Ball Z that they wanted Gohan to be a bigger main character than he actually was. But so Goku and Steven have one very big similarity, which is that they are both extraordinarily childish, at least in like the main parts of their series. Steven's an actual child, so that makes sense. And Goku is just only cares about, well, not only cares about, but he like really focuses on food and playing games and having fun and ditching the responsibilities he doesn't want. Also between these characters is that they didn't know really how to handle the powers that they were born with, being an alien. You know, Goku had the tail, and he so much didn't know what to do when he was a kid that he had to get his tail chopped off because he went crazy. Same thing as Gohan. Gohan had his tail chopped off because he went absolutely freaking nuts when there was a full moon. And they cut off Gohan's tail and then blew up the moon just so they were sure that it wouldn't happen. A really big thing is that both characters are trying like really hard to be the main character, essentially. Steven wants to be, you know, Crystal Gem, Pink Diamond, person who helps everyone. I want to help people. That's Steven's whole thing, especially in Steven Universe Future. And Goku just wants to be as strong as he can so that he is the hero of the group. I think it is irresponsible to ignore that Goku also has that competitive edge to be better than Vegeta, because most people just think Vegeta just wants to be better than Goku. But no, Goku also wants to be better than Vegeta. He very much wants to be better than Vegeta. I want to talk about the parental figures between Gohan and Steven as my next character comparison, Piccolo and Pearl.
We are the crystal gems, we'll always save the day.
Now, I think these characters are the same character for one big detail. Both of their names start with the letter P. All right, thank you guys. I'll see you next time. No, I'm kidding. I'm obviously kidding. Neither of them are parents. I feel like that is something that needs to be said right away. Neither of them are technically parents. That being said, in both series, Piccolo and Pearl are both the most responsible parent in the series. Piccolo actually raised Gohan to be who he is. You know, Piccolo embraced what Gohan liked about himself. Piccolo embraced supporting Gohan with his academic ventures and basically embraced who Gohan is and helped him become more of who he is. The same way that Pearl always wanted Steven to reach that power to be able to have the confidence to be a crystal gem. And Pearl did that. Pearl took the steps to make sure that Steven was confident in his own ability and could be the best Steven he could be. For both of these characters, another key detail similar between them is that both of them have lost very significant figures in their life in the series. Pearl obviously lost Rose, and Piccolo lost his dad, which, if we're being fair, it is a little bit of a stretch because Piccolo's dad, King Piccolo, was only alive for like, say, 10 minutes in showtime of the lifespan of Piccolo. So Piccolo didn't really know his dad, but he was like fully conscious when he was born. So he still knows that his dad died. And again, they are just both the most caring person in the show. They are always looking out for the others. They're always making sure the group is like all settled and has everything they need. They're very much emotional support people. And so, yeah, that's Piccolo and Pearl. While we're going through the characters, one thing I pointed out earlier that I want to really talk about now is Vegeta and Peridot.
Life and death and love and birth and peace and war on the planet Earth.
Yeah, so like, I had a hard time at the beginning when I was going to do this. I was like, there's got to be a comparison for Vegeta somewhere. I got to find it in Steven Universe. And I thought it was going to be really hard. But then I looked at my car keys, which, to show you guys right now, have a Peridot. Sorry for the key noise. A Peridot lanyard on my keys. I saw that and I was immediately like, oh my God. These characters are actually closest to the same character in each series. Let me explain. So a very big similarity between the two characters is that they both started off as the villains in their show. Peridot, you know, she started out invading Earth. Vegeta started out invading Earth. You know, they both also had outside help when it came to certain parts of invading. Vegeta had Nappa to come with him and be the big muscle. And Peridot had the same thing with Jasper, who came in was the big muscle. I think the biggest thing that makes these two characters so connected to each other is that both of them, by the end of the series, are a part of the main group. Peridot moves in to the barn with Lapis, and Peridot, gets used to Earth, gets used to the gems, starts to like people. And Vegeta was the same way. He wasn't good at expressing it because he was very the whole time. But like Vegeta still got used to the friends he had made. He got used to Goku and Piccolo and Krillin and Gohan and Tien and Yamcha and all that. And he became a really important part of the main crew of Z fighters in Dragon Ball Z. And one more connection I want to make. It's not super... This one's not super obvious. This one's a huge reach. But I feel like it makes sense. Like, Krillin and Amethyst makes sense, right? Yeah, so I don't have much for these two, but I still feel like they were important enough that I didn't want to leave them out of the video, especially since I talked about Jasper, and Amethyst is literally one of the crystal gems. So, like, Krillin and Amethyst, right? They're both the childhood friends of the main protagonist. Krillin, was by Goku's side almost the entirety of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball GT and Dragon Ball, the series. And Amethyst also is like the childish friend of Steven. They both sort of grew... Well, Amethyst sort of grew up around Steven growing up at the same time. It was more sort of like a older sibling to like baby sibling dynamic, like an 8-year-old just had a baby sibling or whatever. I think the biggest way to compare Krillin and Amethyst is their behavior and the way they carry themselves between the show. Because at the beginning of each show, they are both weak. They're the weakest members of the group. They don't do much. They're not very serious. But at the end of Dragon Ball Z and at the end of Steven Universe, both of their attitudes are like completely changed. Krillin is like super serious, like has a family, has people to fight for. And Amethyst struggles sort of with herself and with the idea that she was a mistake. Like, not like she wasn't supposed to be made, but she literally is a mistake in that she was made wrong, per se, and made not the way they intended to make her. And she struggled with that. And over time, she became a lot more mature and serious because of her struggle with that. And they're both short. So anyway, yeah, I hope I opened your eyes to the world that is the Steven Universe Dragon Ball Z crossover experience. I don't know if Rebecca Sugar intended to have so much similarities to Dragon Ball Z in their show. I know that they drew a lot of inspiration from anime in general, but I don't know if they necessarily watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z. That's something I would have to like actually go in depth on for their take. But I do know this. I am really grateful for you for checking out this month's edition of the Hot Take Table. Next month, we are going to be talking about another one of my favorite television shows of all time and how it is better now than it used to be. It really is. It really is. We'll get a lot more in depth on that. But for now, thank you for coming to my basement. I hope to see you soon. And remember, outro line.